Okay. Today we'll learn Daf Gimel, right? We stopped exactly at the end. We thank Hashem we're able to learn every day. It's of a learning. We should have the basic Mikdash immediately. Yeshakayach to Nassan and Dr. Stein taking over. Okay, the Gemara here said that the person says, "I will be beautiful." So that means that he's going to be a Nazir, right? You know, I'll be nice. It means he wants to let his hair grow. It's going to look nice. Because maybe it means, hey, welcome. Maybe it means that he's going to be nice in mitzvahs. He says no. Shmuel says he's holding hair. He's grabbing onto hair. So we know that's what it means. Maybe, so now the Gemara says, but saying that he's going to be a Nazir is something that's not nice. It's an Aveira. How could you call that nice? This. Okay. Okay. So the Gemara says it is considered nice to say that he's a Nazir. It is considered beautiful. We're on top of Daf Yomi. The feel Rebbe Lazar a kapper damer Nazir chayte. Even according to Rebbe Lazar a kapper that says that when someone takes on a vow that he's a Nazir, he's considered a sinner because he wasn't supposed to accept on himself all those prohibitions. Hani miligabin Nazir tamei. That's referring to a Nazir that becomes tamei. Daidi the boy mistar because he needs to start over. What happens to a Nazir is if he says he's going to be a Nazir, he's a Nazir for 30 days. Now all the rules apply. If he interrupts the Nazirus by going into a cemetery or coming in contact with the corpse, so then he has to start over. We had that Gemara where Rav Shimon HaTzadik said that he never ate from a korban of a Nazir Tameh except once because he felt that they regretted their Nazirus. They weren't really sincere, except for that one child that had these locks. And he remember this? He looked into the water. He thought his Yetzer Hara was going to overtake him. So he vowed that he's going to be a Nazir, and the Nazir has to cut his hair at the end. So he said that was the only Nazir korban that he ate from. So basically, the issue is the Nazir Tameh, because the Nazir Tameh has to start over. The first days, they fall off. Could have been, he counted 29 days. Now he has to restart the whole thing. So Kitami Nazir, because he became impure.
I just realized there could be another reason why Nazir is here. I say the Nashim, because we learned similar. The first answer was, he saw a woman, going through the Sultan going through, the embarrassing, tribulations, and at the end. But here we could also say we had learned there were times when a woman came to me and had to restart her account. So similar to that.
Oh.
Here there are times where a Nazir would have to restart. I'm just
okay. Okay. For that it should really be in the laws of Taras, the impurity. That would go under like the Nida laws or something. Not necessarily. Nida's in Taras. Nida's not in say the Nashim.
Whoops, take that back.
The Nashim is like the the marriage obligations. Well, okay. Gemara says, "Hasamhu dilma asi lemevar al nazirusek." Over there, in the case where a Nazir becomes tamei, we're concerned that maybe he's going to violate the Nazirus because it's taking too long. He was expecting it to take 30 days. Now it's taking 59 days. Right? If it had. So Aval Nazir tar, but if a Nazir that is just plays out as regular Nazirus, we're on page 3. Lav chayte karbe, he's not called a sinner. Now the sinner, it's interesting because the Nazir tummy is also didn't really do a sin. He didn't become tummy on purpose. He became tummy by mistake. But nevertheless, balachayti doesn't mean that he sinned on purpose either. Balachayti means he sinned by mistake, right? Chatas. That was that whole discussion in Yuma. Which one is worse?
Isn't a sin just like if you do it like purposely, like just like a form of punishment, but not purposely?
Sort of. Yeah. So here we're saying that he came in contact. Look, he's in a house. Someone died while he was in the house. So he runs out of the house as fast as he can, but it was totally not intentional and all. Right. So this is still considered a sinner because he regrets the vow that he took. Okay. Now, Hareini Kozeh. This piece of Gemara is a little difficult, just because the language here is not the text is not perfect. There's a lot of corrections, and he says, "I'll be like this." Nahinami the toughest besarai, although he's holding on to here. Hareini Kozeh Yamar. I'll be like this. He didn't say. What does that mean? I guess what it means is he didn't say that he's going to be a Nazir. He just is holding on to here. Never said he's going to be a Nazir. Not that he's holding on to here. He's pointing to a Nazir that was walking by, and he says, "I'm going to be like him." Which that person was a Nazir. It wasn't just here. It was a Nazir. So that's why it's going to work. So it's only when there's a Nazir walking by that it's going to an expression like that is going to make him a Nazir. Hareini misalsal. Misalsal means to curl. I'm going to curl my hair. Who would curl his hair? A Nazir. So if he says I'm going to be a hair curler, that means he's saying that he's going to be a Nazir. He becomes a Nazir. I'm sorry. Right, but that was considered a negative thing by Yosef, right? How do you know that this curling has to do with hair? How do you know that that it's associated with hair? Well, we had a Gemara. We had a Gemara Megillah where we're translating words. This Amsa the Rebbe knew translations of words. She had a good vocabulary. And people, the sages didn't know what this meant, what that meant. And they heard this maidservant in the house of Rebbe using words that they weren't familiar with. They said, "Oh, that's what it must mean." Went back to the psukim and they translated psukim based on her expressions. So this Amsa the Rebbe said, "Lahu Gavar." She told this person, "Ad masayat misalsal b'sarech. How long are you going to curl your hair?" There was probably some guy who just came out of the mikveh and he was curling the dayas. Enough already. How long going to curl your hair? Okay, so we know that the Hebrew word silsel means to curl hair. Ema Torah. Maybe it's referring to Torah. When he says Hareini misalsal, I'm going to be a curler. Maybe he means I'm going to turn the words of Torah over and study it this way and study it that way. That's what it means, the curl, to like turn it around.
Tal.
Well, yeah, but that's with the top. No, that's with the kavitzaisa tal. That's with the test. That's with the test. But is that a tougher test? But that's not silsel. Unless you, right?
I never heard silsel.
Silsel is usually the verb to curl. Al means locks.
Oh,
What happened?
okay.
What happened?
So Yitzi said curling is a winter Olympic sport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the pasuk says, "Salsala v'tarei mimeka." turn you over. I'll turn and lift you up. It's referring to the studying of Torah. So maybe he doesn't mean that he's going to become a Nazir. We're talking about where he's holding his hair. He says Hareini Misalsel, that means that he's going to become a Nazir. Hareini Mechalkel. Now, Mechalkel usually means I'm going to provide sustenance. Right, Mechalkel means to provide. But here, it means a crown. Hareini Mechalkel. I'm going to have a crown, I mean a crown of hair. How do you know that Mechalkel means he's going to have a crown of hair, which means he's going to be a Nazir? Well, Kedetanan, we have a Mishnah that says, Sid, how much plaster is considered carrying on Shabbos? You know, when it comes to carrying on Shabbos, if you carry a little lint on your clothing, it's not considered carrying. If it's just like, you know, hanging on there, it's insignificant. So everything that you carry has to have has to be a significant amount. So when it comes to plaster, how much plaster is considered a significant amount? So Rabbi Yehuda lasud kilkel. It's enough to remove the hair that surrounds the tichel.
It's the plaster people put on their skin.
On the temples, right? On the,
Debilitator.
right.
Debilitator. Or like meat, you know.
Yeah, but the debilitary like burnt it off, right? This was like they put it on and then they would rip it off. I think it pulled it out.
Wax.
Like wax. I think so. I think this would get. I don't know.
Either way,
either way,
the hair out.
Either way,
debilitary means it takes out the hair.
Right. Okay. V'amarav basida. This is on the temple. It would take off on the forehead. Sida is the forehead, but it means under the forehead, I guess. So that's the amount of plaster. And what are we seeing from this? That they lasud kilkel. We're using the Mishnah term for kilkel, which means the hair that surrounds the head.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Kilkel is an example here, an example of
crown.
No, but from the original Mishnah's Ration Sefer. This is a kinui.
Yeah.
Why can't we say that it's, you know, it says Nazir,
Yeah.
which are almost,
Right.
Why can't we, if you look at the fact that those are all almost the same letters, change a bit, the chalka and the salsa, all you have to do is take a little bit away and say this would have been should have been a different category. It would have should have been the category of Nazir, and the chalka.
So if you remember back in the Darim, we had if the kino we had a machlekes Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. If the kinuyim were,
It's always Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish.
If the kinuyim were another language, or if the or the kinuyim were specific words that were made for this to,
right.
So either one, either mechalkel wasn't another word for mesalsal, or it wasn't in another language. Because we know what mechalkel means. It means something to do with the hair. It means mesalsal has to do with the hair. Those were specific words that were made.
Is that also like Torah?
That's what they're called. Kilkel. Yeah. Very good.
He learned Torah Shval Pei, such a sound.
Remember one of the films.
What does it say there?
Shabbat was the line on top.
Oh, no, it's just a misprint.
Okay.
It's a small little dot.
So we say over here, Ramashmua, sorry. Ema Mason Anya. How do you know that it means that I'm going to grow a crown of hair? Maybe it means I'm going to support the poor. Mechalkel means just to provide. That Yosef supported his father and his brother. his brothers. It means to provide. Amar Shmuel, Shmuel gives the same answer that he's holding on to here, his own here. I'm going to throw out wild here. Means I'm going to grow wild here. Pera means wild here.
That same as paradise.
Yeah, it means wild. Well, I did that. Yeah, I think it means wild. Ayer Pera is a wild donkey, right? So if he says I'm going to grow wild here, he's a Nazir. He's a Nazir. So now the term that the verb that he says he's going to grow was shaleach. How do you know that the word shiluach, which means to throw, means over here to grow? Because it says shalachayach pardas shemainim. Is it shalachayach, shalachacha? Shalachayach, shalachayach. Your shoots, the young growths, are a orchard of pomegranates. Shir shirim.
Wow.
Hey.
Okay.
That's what it means to be a shaliach.
Oh,
Grow.
that's me. Shliach. Yeah.
What
Means
did
to
you
grow.
say?
It means a shliach. Shliach means he makes people grow. Grow in Torah.
Give him a trophy.
So
Last night, this mentioned that he met a well-known Nazir in Jerusalem,
yeah.
like yesterday. Prepare for this sector. He asked him, "What do you do about Kiddush?" He says he makes it on pomegranate wine.
Oh, by day, I guess. Yeah, the Shabbos day.
Did you see did he show the video? Because online, this is Rabbi Stefanski, he did a 45-minute video when he shows expert excerpts of it with this guy, who's a Nazir. Come to your own conclusions, it's like the way he answers the questions. But
This
he
wasn't.
He looked like a Nazir.
This wasn't the Nazir. The Reb David.
Famous one at the hotel.
David
I wasn't sure.
Cohen.
From
He
looking,
said he wrote like 30 books already. His wife's
He's not around.
His
of
wife's
course,
in
Reb
the
David.
zero. No, this guy's a young guy.
Oh, so that I don't know about him. I don't know.
Someone took
and that was just, I don't know any
Uh-huh.
details. That's
Yeah.
Kiddush on pomegranate.
That's
No,
it.
this is, what was the Rabbi Shar Yosef Cohen?
The one
His
who-
father was Reb David. David Cohen was the Nazir, a friend of Rav Kohen,
And when was that?
many years ago.
So he was a Nazir for life
Yeah,
because you can't get
Right,
out of it
right,
anymore.
right.
Until the base of
right.
Long beard.
No, because maybe why can't he remove the
then he would never have been a Nazir at all.
oh
What a
then
waste. Then he should be a bad guy, a sinner,
he removed
because
it?
he
No.
never he for all that time he didn't do Kiddush, he didn't do this, he didn't do all these things he should, So
Well,
he's gonna
yes,
remove
yes.
it. The remover he removes his museums.
the answer to what he did on Friday night is he Kaddish the Shabbos on call.
Friday night was challah, and Shabbos day he used vodka or anything else.
I just like the fact his wife was in the zero too. But there was a marriage made in heaven about Vaitan. So
The Shadchan had an easy time over there. I only know one
and
other
any
person.
other Nazir.
Whoever the Nazir was, he used to, when I lived in Israel, he'd get a big crowd listening on Friday night at the hotel.
Oh yeah.
It's different.
Okay. So how do we know that it means Ema Midi Davuri? How do you know that when it says L'Shaleach Pera that I'm going to grow here? How do you mean to grow wild here? Maybe it means I'm going to remove wild here. Shiluach could mean to throw, to take out, to send out, right? Maybe it means to remove. He throws the water on the outskirts, on the ground. It means to throw out. It doesn't mean to grow. Umar says, Tana pera pera yalev. We learn a comparison, a verbal analogy. It says pera in one place, it says pera in another place. We're going to learn it means to grow. Pera. Here by the Nazir, it says that the Nazir's here, the Nazir, holy is he that grows his hair. That's referring to the Nazir. Ksiv Hassam says in Yecheskel, we have it in After, I think in Emar maybe. Gabi Kayin Hedyet, Pera Leyeshalechu, that he should not grow his hair wild. Kayin Hedyet, the regular Kayin. A Kayin Gadol, I think, got a haircut every day. I think. A Kayin Hedyet was not allowed to let his hair grow for more than 30 days. He didn't take he wasn't supposed to shave it, and he wasn't supposed to let it grow wild. In the Psukim, that's where it says that a Kayin can't eat an Avelu treif. Remember that Haftarah. Okay. So over there it says that he can't let it grow wild. So therefore, the word Yeshalechu means to grow wild, and by the Nazir also it says that he has to let his hair grow. So if he says that l'shaleach pera, that means that he's going to let his hair grow. If you want, you can say another pshat over here. What was the pasuk that we used that the word shaluach meant to remove? That shaleach mayim, that he throws the waters on the side, on the ground. That also means to grow. To the Matargum Rabbi Yosef, the kadmash kalei maya lepera v'rabi, that he's going to water the fruits and they're going to grow. It's always Rabbi Yosef, by the way, whenever the Targum is quoted. Rabbi Yosef, because Rabbi Yosef was blind. So he wasn't supposed to study you're not supposed to study the biblical text by heart. You're supposed to read it always from the source. So you're definitely not supposed to recite it by heart. So Rabbi Yosef, that was blind, who couldn't read it from the source, would always recite the Targum, the Aramaic translation. So
It's Rabbi Yosef.
yeah, by his teacher. Yeah, so he says that he translates it as he would water the fruits and they would grow, which means that the throwing of the water means the growing of the fruits. That's the okay. Harielite Siparin. If he says I'm going to, he accepts on himself birds. The birds are brought if the Nazir becomes tummy, he has to bring birds. Now, Reb Meir says that means that he's a Nazir. He's accepted on himself to be a Nazir.
Well, he would also have to restart his Nazarite ship.
Yeah, well, he wasn't even a Nazir yet.
Oh,
This is a regular guy walking on the street, and he says, I accept on myself birds. We say, okay, that means you're a Nazir.
oh.
Chum say he's not a Nazir. My time with the Reb Meir, what is Reb Meir saying? What is he thinking? What's this logic that someone that says he accepts on himself birds, he's going to be a Nazir? Amar Rish Lakish. Rish Lakish says, Tziparin smuchel Maseiah kibel alav. This is a game of association. He said, Tziparin. What comes to mind, Tziparin? It means a Nazir. It means to grow the hair. Why? Because this must have been a popular pasuk. Ksiv Adisare Kanishrin Rabba V'Tifrei Kitziparin. This is when Nebuchadnezzar has this dream where he asks everyone to interpret it. No one can interpret it. It's a dream where this tree grows tall and very tall till it reaches to heaven, and under it everyone is taking shade, and the fruits are to feed the whole earth. And then it gets cut down.
It sounds
and
like
it's exposed.
Avatar.
It gets exposed, and it's just open to the dew of the fields. And then Daniel translates it for him that he's going to. It's referring to him, to Nebuchadnezzar, and he's going to end up becoming like a wild animal. He's going to eat the grass in the field. Anyway, over there it says that his hair is going to grow like eagles, kinisharan rabba, like it's going to grow like the eagle's feathers. But Tifrei and his nails, Kitsipirin, are going to be like a bird's claws, so like unkempt, right? Is that Nebuchadnezzar? Yeah, I think so. Right. He made someone swear to him. Who did he make swear? Oh, he made the Tzidkiyahu swear, I think. Where do we have that? In the Dharam. So Rav Meir Savar, you see in this verse it says that his hair is going to grow like eagles and his nails are going to grow like a bird's claws. The Meir says, oh, he must be referring to hair. When he says he is accepting on himself birds, remember birds? Well, birds, the nails, claws, the claws of the bird, he's going to grow his hair wild. Oh, so it's referring to growing the hair wild. The person will grab onto part of the verse that's next to the part that he wants to say. So, association.
Turning left.
Doesn't the Nazir bring birds as an offering after?
Yeah, and we're not even that would be the simple shot, but the Gemara is not even going to there. It's saying that it's the Nazir brings birds. That's when he becomes tamei. Let's see. We'll see further. We'll see. It's supposed to come up. Right here, we're just saying that it's an association thing. Okay.
There are other examples of birds being brought.
Yeah, that's what Gemara's going to ask in a minute. The Rabbanan, Sabri, the Rabbanan say, no, a person doesn't grab onto something that's next to it in the verse. Okay, who's explaining this? This is being explained by Rish Lakish. Rish Lakish says, oh, it's a verse that he's familiar with, and that's what he means. Rabbi Yechanan argues on Rish Lakish, says, the Kuli Amalei Matvis. No one says that your person's grabbing onto verses that are words in the verse that aren't even mentioned. The reason for Rameir is the Chashin and Shemet Tzipari Nazir Tami Kibalav. He's accepting on himself to bring the birds of a Nazir Tami, which means that he's accepting on himself to be a Nazir. Gemara says Michti, 1 second. Chashin and Kama, we only suspect. Now, one of the issues with the Nazirus is that it says Ishkiyafli, that he has to express it. If there's any doubt about it, then it doesn't work. It has to be 100% clear.
Yesterday they mentioned that the words in the heart had to match.
Yeah.
Like if there was like any doubt, like it wouldn't.
Right. So all of these terms have to be that this is actually what it means. You have to be clear about this. You're asking that it doesn't. Yeah.
No.
Well, let's see. So Chashin and Kamar, Dilma Tzipari Nedava Kibal Alav. How do you know that he means that he's going to be the birds of a Nazir? Maybe he's just accepting on himself to bring a regular birds of an Ayla, right? It's possible he brings a donation birds. Imkain, Harei Khan mi Bailai. Should have said the word Khan, because the word Khan is a pair of birds. Khan means a nest. It says, I'm accepting on myself to bring a pair of birds. That would be, the Hebrew expression would be Khan, not Sipirim, not birds. He said birds, it must mean that he's referring to some other birds. The birds of the Mitzaira doesn't say Khan. When a Mitzaira, a leopard, gets purified, so they have to dip the wings of one of the birds in the other bird's blood, and they send the bird away. Maybe he's referring to that. Maybe he's accepting on himself the birds of Mitzaira. We have a Nazir that's walking in front of him. Now, before, when the Nazir was walking in front of him, we said, Hareini Kazeh or something. So then that would fit perfectly. But over here, there's a Nazir walking in front of him. He says, I'm accepting on himself birds. So we say that he's accepting on himself to be a Nazir. The Gemara says, V'dilma Nazir Tameh Ulapaitre min Karbanaisav Kamar. Maybe what he's accepting on himself is to provide the birds, to donate the birds to this Nazir that's Tameh. And he's not really accepting on himself to be a Nazir. He's just accepting on himself to bring the birds for the other fellow. So the Gemara says, it wasn't a Tamei Nazir. It was a Nazir that was tar, that doesn't need the birds. When he says he's accepting on himself birds, he's accepting on himself to be a Nazir. It's odd, because he's not accepting on himself to be a Nazir Tamei, he's accepting on himself to be a Nazir. Impure, yeah, you cannot, either it becomes a Nazir and becomes Tamei if he becomes Tamei, but a regular Nazir doesn't need to bring birds.
The sacrifice that is done at the conclusion of the year,
With 3 sacrifices, yeah, but not there weren't 2 birds. Was there 1 bird? Do you remember? Was there 1 bird at the end of the Naziris? A regular Nazir brings a shlamim.
I only did the first page,
And
so I don't know.
Doesn't bring an asham. He brings a shlamim and an oila. He brings 3 animals and a chatas, I think. It could have been one of them was a bird, but not birds. The Nazir Tamei had to bring a guilt offering
Oh,
plus
it's-
2
it's
birds.
3, it's not the same korbanos.
Right,
at the
plus
end
2
of the-
birds. Yeah. Okay. Now the Gemara says, if what we're dealing with here is that there's a Nazir that's standing there, and when he's saying this, so my binayu, what's the difference between Rish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan? I don't know if Rish Lakish actually needs the Nazir. Well, when we said over here that there's a Nazir in front of him, were we saying was this a question on Rish Lakish as well? That's what it sounds like. It sounds like according to both Rish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan, there is a Nazir that's walking in front of him, and that's why it's working. So if that's the case, so then why do we have to explain it like this or explain it like that? It doesn't matter. There has to be a Nazir there for it to work.
Well, no, it's the next 2 lines later. He's talking about Rish Lakish.
So Kagain Amar Siparin Asmuchan Lasar Alai. But the Machlekes comes out like this. If a person says birds that are next to the here, I'm accepting on myself. In other words, he accepts on himself birds that are, he says clearly, he spells it out, birds that are next to the here in the pasuk. According to Rabbi Yochanan, even though he said it's so clear that he's referring to the birds that are next to the here, you still need the Nazir to be there. Why? Because he doesn't say that we use the pasuk that will associate something in the pasuk. The problem is he's saying it. He's saying that he's using the association of the pasuk. Well, let's go further. Reb Shimon ben Lakish, according to Rish Lakish, even if the Nazir is not going in front of him, because he said it clearly that he's using the association of the pasuk, then it's going to work. I don't understand Rabbi Yochanan. He's accepting on himself to grow his hair. The birds that are next to the hair, which that was in that pasuk.
Which Rabbi Yochanan, I think, is not accepting the pasuk itself unless the Nazir is in front of him for the corroboration, so that we understand. But if the Nazir is not there, then his association with the pasuk is not good enough. Whereas according to Rish Lakish,
he's accepting it even without the Nazir. Rish Lakish was accepting it even without the Nazir there.
pasuk is
Because
just
Rish Lakish says that the association is good enough. My only question is, according to Rabbi Yochanan, he's saying that I'm using the association.
Yeah, but he's saying that it's not good enough without the nazir. He is using it, but it's not good enough unless there's a nazir there,
Okay,
because we don't know what's in his mind.
okay.
That's us. Who married who? Reish Lakish married his sister.
Yeah.
You're not the mention that the mayor considers like well, as if it's not walking by like it's not about
According to who?
Rabbi Meir.
According to Rabbi Yochanan or according to Rish Lakish?
No, it says about Rabbi Yochanan.
Yeah, in Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Meir won't consider it a vow, right? Right. So in other words, there was a machlekes here, Rabbi Meir in the Rabbanan, and then there was a machlekes Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish, what Rabbi Meir's view was. Yeah. So in Rabbi Yochanan requires, in order for Rabbi Meir to say that it was going to be a nazir, Rabbi Yochanan requires that there's a nazir walking by. So if he's not walking by, then according to Rabbi Meir, well, according to Rabbanan, it doesn't work anyway. Right. Okay.
Well, I just want to say, Rav Meir is a Tana. So Rav Yochanan and Reish Lakish are more. So they're discussing what the original argument was between Rav Meir and Rabbi.
Yeah.
And Rabbi.
Rabbi Meir is much earlier.
He was a direct student of it.
Right. So now the Gemara says, is there an opinion that holds that a person doesn't use association? But Tanya, but we have a brisa. If someone says that what's his expression? He swears by his right hand. He says, by my right hand, that I will not eat this loaf of bread. That's considered an oath. Now, why does that work? He says, by my right hand. We say that's considered an oath by my right hand. My timer. Because he lifted his right hand and his left hand to heaven, and he swore by God, by the life of the world. So if that's the case, so we're using an association of a pasuk that says the right hand together with the swear by God. It means if he says by my right hand, he's using association, and everyone agrees that that's considered an oath.
That sounds like court.
Right.
There's kind of like this assumption that everybody knows Tanakh.
Yeah, that's what's happening here. It doesn't fit with other Gemaras, which say that even the Amoraim didn't know Tanakh. We have a Gemara in Baba Kama like that. At least according to one view of what the Gemara means. Okay. So the Gemara says, no, that's not referring to the pasuk. Because the right hand automatically means an oath, not because it says so in a pasuk. The Tanya was started in a brayso. How do you know that if someone says by my right hand that's considered an oath? It says that Hashem swears by his right hand. Small shushva. How do you know that the left hand is also an oath? It says he swears by it with his right hand, and with his arm is his strength. His arm is obviously the other hand, referring to the left hand, is also going to be an oath. Yeah, in court they say lift your right hand.
Raise your right hand.
Put your left hand on the Bible. So they use both.
Raise right
Uh-huh.
Why? Second, what they do, that they just assume is
Right.
they don't know the understanding
For the origin.
You have to learn.
What's an
Right,
example of that?
I'm saying in court.
Raise your right hand.
Oh.
That's still done.
You
You have a
solemnly
choice. You have a choice to
swear
calm
or
it down.
affirm.
Affirm, but they
They
still want
change.
you to raise your right hand.
Is there a difference if someone breaks a swear, or if he says
Yeah,
something different
Only
in
for
court?
Jewish.
I know. So
because
why
we
do they
can't
make a
swear.
big deal about it if it's the same thing in court?
Because they
Swearing
want
and not
you-
swearing, it's the same thing.
They want your testimony to be,
Uh-huh.
it's a lie.
Appear honest.
Alone in jail for perjury.
And what about if you didn't swear on the stand? If you just said it on the stand, you can't. They won't.
You have to swear
have to
or
swear.
affirm before
Oh.
they take you. That's
Uh-huh.
correct.
Okay. Okay. It's interesting.
He doesn't spend that much time in litigation. He spends most of his time learning shit.
Thank God.
Okay, let's learn the Mishnah.
When they can, like, just sentence you for anything else, they go and they sentence you for the perjury.
Uh-huh. Tax, like Al Capone.
Yeah.
Harini Nazir min achatzanim, min azagim, min ateglachas, min atuma. If he says, I'm just a Nazir from one of these things, from the chatzanim are the hits, the zagim are the peels. I'm a Nazir from taking a haircut. I'm a Nazir from tuma. Or he's a Nazir. He's a Nazir. He didn't accept on himself all the laws of Nazirs, but he becomes a Nazir because he accepted on himself one of them and with using the word Nazir. Mastisant like Reb Shimon, the Gemara says, our Mishnah is not like Reb Shimon. Shimon says he's only going to be a Nazir and takes until he takes a vow from all of them. Okay, so the Rabbanan say that he only has to accept on himself one of these items, and then he becomes a Nazir for everything. My time with Reb Shimon, what's the reason for Reb Shimon? Amar Kra, he has a pasuk, Mikol sheyasim migefen hayayin mechatzanav adzag. Anything from the peels to the pits, from the pits to the peels, which means that he has to accept on himself everything. That's Reb Shimon's view.
Why aren't they not considered yads technically? Because
Oh, that's a good question.
in a way, it's
Maybe
like-
he doesn't hold the yad. That's a good question.
I thought a yacht for just to an incomplete statement.
Right,
rather
but this
than
would
just-
be,
Yeah, but this
is
way-
a perfect incomplete statement.
This reminds me of like notifying the vow. Like if you notify a part, like the whole vow is notified.
Right.
Here's like the
He's
opposite.
right.
You take on part of it. you
Exactly.
take a part, you take
That's
on
the view of the Rabbanan. Rabbanan, my time, what's the view? Explain the view of the Rabbanan. Amakra, the yayin b'sheicher yaser, takes a vow from wine. Sheicher doesn't mean beer, it means hard wine, like cognac or something. Reb Shimon Nami, yaksiv yayin b'sheicher yaser. What does Reb Shimon do with that? He says that I need an extra pasuk. Kumi baile less a yayin mitzvah yayin or a shus. To say that he can't make wine, he can't drink wine of a mitzvah. Ma'hi, what is wine of a mitzvah? Kiddush Tav Avdalta. It's Kiddush in Avdallah. So let's stop over here because the next piece is an interesting piece.
it.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, how was St.